This is episode 34. What's up, guys? Thank you for tuning in. Today we're going to talk about some things, some strategies that individuals that may be affected by the COVID-19 or individuals that may have lost their jobs and maybe going into some financial difficulty. We're going to talk about some legal strategies that individuals can use to help improve their situation. In particular, we're going to talk about bankruptcy. Now, oftentimes, at least in the US, bankruptcy has a bad reputation. Bankruptcy was created for just regular people to give you a fresh start. And if you may feel like you may need a fresh start, look into bankruptcy. Now, think long and hard about it, but it's a legal strategy that you can use. But let's talk about overall just bankruptcy. Now, when you're dealing with bankruptcy, it's important to go to the actual law. And the US Federal Code, US Code, there are over 50 different titles. And in one of my prior videos dealing with tax, we realized that Title 26 deals with the tax code. Well, Title 11 deals with the bankruptcy code. So it's important to go to the law. And when it comes to dealing with your facts or your situation, you have to apply your facts to the actual law. And if you feel like you're going through some trying times, what legal claim do you have? Bankruptcy. You can start figuring out bankruptcy. So there's primarily 4 different types of bankruptcies you can pursue. There's Chapter 7, there's Chapter 11, Chapter 12, and Chapter 13. And these are different chapters, as I mentioned, of that Title 11 of the U.S. Code. So this is important. So the chapter part refers to the different chapters within that Title 11, which is they consider collectively the U.S. Bankruptcy Code. Chapter 26, they consider the U.S. Tax Code. Chapter 11, the U.S. Bankruptcy Code. So that's important. So you hear chapters that refer to that title within the U.S. Federal Code that Congress has passed. So Chapter 7. Chapter 7 primarily just wipes out pretty much all of your debts. It wipes out the overwhelming majority of debts. It doesn't get rid of student loans. It doesn't get rid of the payroll taxes. If you're a small business and you have to pay payroll taxes, it doesn't wipe out payroll taxes. And there's probably a few other, but it pretty much just wipes out the majority of your debts and give you a fresh start. And that's equally important. It's used to give you a fresh start. If you feel like just a lot is on you and your family, consider bankruptcy. I mean, there's many things people that have considered bankruptcy. The President of the United States has filed bankruptcy multiple times, and he's bounced back. You can bounce back. I mean, that's give yourself an opportunity to use the law to your advantage. That's what this whole global law is about, learning how to use the law to your advantage. And bankruptcy is one of them. So, but in exchange for wiping out all your debts, it may cause you to potentially liquidate, like your house, for example, or your car, for example. If you own it outright, they may make you sell it to help pay some of those creditors in exchange for giving you a fresh start. But there is a caveat. They do have these debt limits, and every state is different, and there's some federal debt limits. But you can also set aside different personal property and your primary your house, the debt limit. So if you don't own much equity in your house, you can put that on that debt limit list and potentially save your house. So it's very important to understand that Chapter 7 bankruptcy does not mean that you're gonna lose your house. The majority of the time you won't lose your house, because the idea is that if you're filing for bankruptcy, you're already behind on your house payments, or you don't have much equity in your house. Particularly if you are a business owner, you probably got a second mortgage on your house to pay for that business, to help start that business. So if you start falling behind on your payments, the likelihood of you losing your house in bankruptcy is very little, because you can put that in your debt limit list, and if you meet that threshold of not having that much equity in your house, you can keep your house and get a fresh start. Chapter 11 is primarily for large corporations. Like if you're like a big massive company on the stock market or whatever it may be, a big multinational corporation, they're going to be filing Chapter 11. And Chapter 11 is primarily for them, and it helps them renegotiate different contracts, it helps them pretty much save the business. It helps them renegotiate contracts with different creditors, because they can't necessarily pay those contracts. So they help renegotiate them within chapter 11. And it's important to also know that in order for that Chapter 11 to go through, you must get approval of those creditors. So that's very important. So a lot of people don't file Chapter 11. A lot of small businesses don't file Chapter 11 either, because it's primarily made for large corporations. Because a lot of, like for example, you are an event planner or whatever it may be, you may not have big contracts that need to be renegotiated. But it's going to cost the same amount of money, same amount of time that it would a big, large corporation. So a lot of individuals and a lot of companies, it just doesn't make sense to file Chapter 11. Chapter 12 is primarily for farmers. And you know, farming is a very unique business, because the idea is that you have your bills month to month, but you can only make a profit once or twice a year. For example, harvest times, when you picking up your crops and selling the crops, you're only making money once or twice a year, but you have bills every single month. So you're a farmer, you can potentially file into bankruptcy, and the U.S. Congress set aside Chapter 12 for farmers. For example, if you need to pay $50, your money is invested into your animals. You can't slice off a part of the pig and sell it for $50. You need that pig, you need that chicken, you need that goat, that cow to keep producing. So you can't just slice it off. So that makes it difficult for farmers. And to protect farmers, they created Chapter 12. Chapter 13 is the last one we're going to talk about, and that primarily individuals are making money. If you're a wage earner or you're a person that has a steady source of income, then Chapter 13 will be good for you, because now you can renegotiate and get a payment plan that you can pay out all your creditors within 3 to 5 years maybe. So if you're making money and you have a steady job, have some source of income that can be regular, then you can file Chapter 13, and that'll help you just renegotiate everything and then give you a plan that can help have your creditors in X amount of time. So that's important. And also, when you're filing your bankruptcy, they give you an automatic stay. So the creditors can't necessarily, particularly Chapter 7, the creditors can't necessarily keep blowing your phone up, keep mailing you things like that. So when you file bankruptcy, that'll immediately give you a brush for that, because they give you that automatic stay. That's a legal term in bankruptcy, automatic stay. It's making the creditors, the bill collectors, stay from contacting you. So that's important. Also, they have a Chapter 20. It's somewhat unofficial, but Chapter 20 is a legal strategy where you can combine Chapter 7 and Chapter 13. So you file Chapter 7, and that doesn't necessarily give you all the benefits of it. Then you immediately file Chapter 13, and that'll give you both of those benefits. And what they call a Chapter 20. It's not really official, but it's a legal strategy that I'll probably do another video on, but that's important to understand. So there's 4 official, and there's 5, the 5th one is unofficial. And if you are a small business, this is important to understand, because there are codes for businesses with the Chapter 11. They're the individual, Chapter 7, Chapter 13, Chapter 12 is for farmers. But if you're a small business, a person, what they say, making $1 million or less, or have less than 100 employees, which is the majority of businesses, at least in the U.S., there's not really a particular chapter in bankruptcy law that's for you. So you have to figure out which one is best for you. Is Chapter 7 for you, or is Chapter 13 for you? Because Chapter 13, if your business is making money, has regular source of income, you can go to Chapter 13, but that's for people who actually have a steady source of income. If your business is not making the money and you lost your business, you're about to lose your house or whatever it may be, Chapter 7 may be the best for you, because that'll help potentially save your house if you have these debt limits in place. So if you're a small business, figure out which one can be best for you and fit your situation. So we talked about a lot in this video. We talked about different chapters in the tax code. We talked about, it's 4 of them, 5 unofficially. We talked about the origins of it, how it comes from Title 11. We talked about a lot. We talked about the reasons the individual may want to file bankruptcy. If you're a small business, the strategies, the tactics, which chapter you want to focus on and use. We talked about a lot in this video. So if you found some value from it, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And if you found some value from it, you may know someone who may find value from it, feel free to share it with them. Thanks for all the likes, thanks for all the shares, thanks for all the encouraging words. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this video. And I really appreciate it, guys. Thanks.
See, you want the fame and I want the town.